I'm gonna buy this $200 camping backpack so I can finally call myself a camper. Nah, I'm just kidding.
I'm breaking down 5 lies about camping gear that are hurting the outdoor community and society as a whole. And if you don't fix these 5 lies in your life, you're going to waste a lot of time and money, and you'll never be able to find real self-reliance in the world of the outdoors. The first lie that we tell ourselves is that new gear will make the experience so much better. This is simply a lie. In fact, unless you're climbing Mount Everest and you need brand new gear, then you probably don't need new gear to make your experience that much better. The backpack that you've been using for 1 to 2 years already is probably gonna feel and perform the same functions, exactly the same as the new backpack that you just bought. In fact, I find that when I have older gear, I actually like the experience more because when I have older gear, it's broken in and it feels better on my body. If I was always buying new gear, I'd also be wasting money. Now, one of the biggest things in the camping and hiking world is wasting of money. We believe at Empty Spaces Outfitters that you don't need all of the crazy expensive items and you don't need new gear because at the end of the day, that's not what this is about. We're trying to build self-reliance. We're trying to build adventures. And if you're just basically modeling what society does in nature, I think you're missing the point. Number 2, new gear is more comfortable and more reliable. New gear hasn't been tested by you. New gear also hasn't been broken in. And so when you're buying your new gear, you're actually saying, my old gear is not good enough. I think the new gear is going to perform better, but you don't actually know if it will. And so for that first camping trip, I highly advise, especially if you just bought new gear, to bring all of your gear. Because what would happen if you're doing a 12-mile hike and let's say your water filter that you brought doesn't actually work, even though it's brand new, but you've got old reliable in the backpack still. You have to start thinking like this if you're going to be out in the wild away from society and quick fixes. Because if that water filter was your only chance to get water on that hike, you would have to turn around or you would risk becoming dehydrated because the new water filter didn't work. And so new gear isn't always better, especially when it hasn't been tested. And I'm not saying that you have to test every single piece of new gear compared to the old and then make your decision. When your old gear breaks down, sure, buy some new equipment. But also, if you're out in the woods and your old gear breaks down, this is a perfect chance to start building that wild edge, that self-reliance that the wild is so easily producing within you. Number 3, I only need one more piece to make my equipment set complete. This is a blatant lie. A lot of times we get in the mindset that we have to have more than we need. In fact, when you think about it, having only one more piece might make a difference. But at the end of the day, if your equipment set is basically functional and it works, then that one more piece is only going to bring you marginal benefits. We have this system, and as you can see, the sleeping bag and the sleeping pad are contained within that system. Then we have a new blanket, an additional pad, and a new pillow. Those are outside of the system. They may make the system better, but at the end of the day, they're additional items that we don't necessarily need for the system to be complete. Number 4, my old gear used twice is old and worn out. This is a lie. And if you don't like lies, make sure you subscribe to this channel because we bring you the truth. A lot of times we look at our old gear and it's been several years before we've used it more than twice. unless you're an avid outdoorsman, which a lot of us are. But if you're not, and you've only used, let's say, your sleeping pad 2 or 3 times, it's probably not worn out. You see, a lot of our camping equipment is actually rated to be used hundreds of times. And so when we see something new and shiny in the Walmart or Costco or REI, Cabela's, Bass Pro Shops, we tend to think, oh, that would make my system so much better. That is so much better than what I have. This is a classic case of keeping up with the Joneses. If I see somebody out there camping and they have this new shiny item, I'm gonna wanna have that when my item still works. Don't do this. This is a trap. This is keeping you within the societal hypnotic mechanism where you are being told that you need to consume, when instead you just need to get out into nature and start having fun. Number 5, I'm not a true camper or hiker or adventurer if I don't have this specific piece of equipment. This isn't true because equipment doesn't make the man or woman. You are not going to find true self-reliance if you're only relying on your equipment. You have to rely on what's in here and in here before you rely on equipment. There's a saying in the buckaroo world that if you are only relying on your equipment to get the job done, then you're not a true horseman, because a true horseman doesn't need equipment to control a horse. What they need is up here in their head. They need to have the heart to do it. And if they don't have those 2 things, they're always going to be looking for the next tool to make the job easier or to put a band-aid on the problem. When you are always looking for that piece of equipment to make you into something, you're lying to yourself. You don't need the crazy $2,000 mountain bike to be a mountain biker. You can probably get away with a $200 bike. Just start out on some trails. That is what we're all about here at Empty Spaces Outfitters, is getting beginners out there on the trail, out there adventuring, so that you can get away from the lies that society is telling you about buying all this crap, more or less, about buying more camping gear. Now, what I haven't shared with you is there is a final lie about camping gear. And if you're interested in that final lie and fixing it before it hurts you, before it takes your time, energy, and money, then you need to watch the next video right here.